You are listening to the audio portion of the QB Power Hour webinar series. The QB Power Hour is a free biweekly webinar series for accounting professionals presented by Michelle Long and Dan DeLong, who are very passionate about the industry, QuickBooks, and apps that integrate with QuickBooks. You can find out all the details about the webinar series at qbpowerhour.com. So without further ado, here's Michelle and Dan.
Welcome, everybody, to another QB Power Hour. Today's topic is QuickBooks at year end. I'm very glad to have you all joining us today. And my name is Michelle Long. I'm a CPA with an MBA in entrepreneurship, trainer for Intuit for a long time, contract trainer for Intuit for a long time, author of 5 different books. You can check those out on Amazon. And as you can see, that we've got the links there for the Facebook group and the LinkedIn group. That Facebook group is really active. So we'd love to have you join us out there and continue the conversation. Dan, go ahead.
Yeah, my name is Dan With, owner and founder of Dan With, where we transform businesses through technology. I worked at Intuit for nearly 18 years. I co-host today and also co-host of Workshop Wednesdays at Schoolofbookkeeping.com. Done some tech editing for QBO for Dummies and Top 10 ProAdvisor this year. So really awesome to have that happen this year. And we have a guest, Jenn.
Hello, it's good to be back. Thank you so much. I'm Jenn Gesing. I'm one of the VPs for the accountant channel. So what that means to you all is I help design our programs for accountants and get to work with you guys and Dan and Michelle. I'm so excited to be on. So thanks for having me.
Yes. So today we're going to be talking about year-end prep. It's actually going to be all about checklists. So, this is the season where people will make lists. Sometimes they'll check them twice. But we're going to talk about the things that you can do in QuickBooks that create lists. Some will be providing some resources about checklists, but we'll be talking about some of the things that you can do inside of QuickBooks that help you create lists. And then normally the QuickBooks Power Hour is every other week, but because of the holidays, we're not going to have a QB Power Hour on the 21st. So we're going to actually throw you a curve and do one next week. So mark your calendars. Next week, we'll be making a roadmap to advisory. And then we're going to kick off 2022 already with works with QuickBooks. Yeah, right. The good, the bad, the ugly with accounting integrations. Because you always see those apps that say works with QuickBooks. And then when you get into the nitty gritty of it, it's, that's not exactly what I thought. So we'll be joined by some guests there, and we'll talk about some of the good, the bad, and the ugly with accounting integration. So we have the Power Hour PDF slides, recordings, podcasts. We put it all in one place for you there at qbpowerhour.com/resources. So we like to make a one-stop shop for you. A little bit of housekeeping. If you have any questions, any Q&A, throw those in the Q&A section. If you have some comments, because I see them floating by, you can put that in the chat. And if you want to chat with others that are joining us here today, and then of course we always have the handouts. There's links there for the handouts as well as on the webinar archive, or you can just go right back to that qbpowerhour.com/resources. So a little bit about today, we'll be talking about some of the overview things that you can do, the bookkeeping overview. Michelle, today we're going to actually do a lot of demoing inside of QuickBooks, assuming QuickBooks Online cooperates. Right before, this is the problem with doing a live webinar, right, Michelle?
Yes.
It is the stars need to align sometimes in order to get things.
Actually, QBO was working, but now my mouse has decided to quit working, and I've unplugged and replugged, and so who knows? But I've got the gremlins today, so it's going to be interesting. Stay tuned.
We've got the slides, so we can speak to the slides if that's the worst case. But we love to go into QuickBooks and actually demonstrate how you can do some of these checklists for you and your clients. But we'll talk about month-end review, the prep for taxes, and make sure you stay for the end because we do have a special offer from our guests at ADP worth $99+.
Yes, and lots of great resources that we need to mention for y'all too.
Right. And speaking of resources, so some of these things about some of the workflows that you can do inside of QuickBooks. We've done some other things before, so we've talked in prior Power Hours, the accountant tools in QBO and QB Desktop. So there's a link for that. The year-end checklist, and we've created some at schoolofbookkeeping.com. You can download that, as well as on the core certification and advanced certification. There's some learnings in there about using these tools as an accountant. So first, poll. We want polls.
Yes.
So this is a multi-select. What kind of year-end activities do you offer your clients? Now, Michelle, when you were speaking active clients, what kind of things did you run into at year end?
I tried to avoid payroll. And even though I did not do taxes, I did have to get the books ready for the taxes. So even though I wasn't doing the tax return, I did have to do that. So I did most of these things. I did not like inventory and payroll because they were always the biggest messes and the hardest to clean up. But it's also very rewarding when you finally get it fixed. You're like, yay! It's like getting a puzzle put together. So
yeah, exactly. And it's the world's hardest puzzle sometimes, especially when there's missing pieces.
Yes. I think one of the things that's so awesome now, though, especially with some of the tools that I'm going to show everyone today that's available through QBOA, is that it's so much easier now with all these checklists that we have and all these resources. And I know Jen's going to share some great checklists with us today. And I mean, when you have all those checklists, it's great because I was always afraid I was going to forget something and overlook something. And so we've got a lot of great resources for you, both within QBOA today that I'm going to share with you. And then Jen's going to share an amazing resource as well. So lots of things to help you. And I think it's important, don't wait until January to start on this stuff. There's a lot of things that we can and should be doing now. So I'm glad you guys are all joining us today.
So I'm just got all choked up. Sorry.
Oh my.
So Michelle, I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing and pass the ball over to you. So you can start sharing.
Screen
and then
share. There we go. And unfortunately, like I said, my mouse has decided not to work all of a sudden. So I'm going to have to use the actual keyboard for a change. But anyway, so I am in QBOA. You can only access this through QBOA. You can tell I'm in QBOA because I've got the accountant up here in that upper left corner.
Sharing yet.
You are not seeing it?
I'm not. Jen, are you seeing it?
I'm not seeing it, no.
Okay. Sorry. There you are. Okay. Now you should be seeing it. Yes. All right. So you want to make sure that you are in QBOA because these are tools that are only for us as accounting professionals and your clients do not see these tools. So first thing to keep in mind is we've got this overview tab in the upper left corner. And this is where you can go in and you can review the company setups. And let me get some of this out of the way here. You can review the company setup, what payroll or what subscriptions they have, whether they have payroll turned on or not, what apps they're using. And more importantly, you can review the banking activity and all the accounts that are set up, and they'll show you the bank balance, unaccepted transactions. So you can see people are falling behind. There's a lot of things that haven't been done out here. These are sample companies. We put a lot of things in here and we don't do all the work. So don't be alarmed by anything that you see out there. You'll see a lot of them never reconciled or not reconciled since 2016.
I would never take this client on.
Yeah. But then as you scroll on down, this is great because you can see some common issues at a glance. It's going to highlight these for you, like undeposited funds that need to be cleaned up, maybe any uncategorized transactions. And we'll talk more about this in just a little bit as well. But you can see we've got a lot of them down here that we probably need to use our reclassified transactions tool to go in and fix some of those. You can review the status of some of the agings over here. And if I click on any of these, it's going to take you right into that report. So you can review that. As you know, your opening balance equity should be 0. This indicates you're going to have to research that and find out what they did. Did they set up a new account with a balance? Did they put a new customer in with an opening balance? You'll need to figure out what happened there and go in and fix those transactions to 0 that out because opening balance equity should always be 0 after your setup. And then this is also really helpful. Any accounts that have a negative balance when they shouldn't. For example, you can see here the savings account. The savings account has a negative balance. That's not normal. So you would want to go investigate that. So I love our overview tab, just to give you a quick overview of what's going on. But the best thing of all is this new books review tab. Now they've changed the name of it to books review. You'll also see it under the accountant toolbox called month in review. That's what it used to be called, but now it's called books review, or you'll see over here, it says bookkeeping review. This has also been updated to add the setup section and the wrap up section. So when you're in cleanup, you will see setup and wrap up. If I were to change this into monthly, the setup one goes away. Under setup though, so if I'm in cleanup, under setup, you can again review some of these settings here and what's turned on and what's turned off first month of the year. You can quickly run the balance sheet or the P&L, but down here's what's great. Opening balance adjustments. If any of these opening balances have changed, you have the ability to go in here and put what the opening balance was like last year. If they made any changes or anything, you could go plug the number in here, and you could also then do an adjustment right from here. So that's kind of handy to be able to review those opening or beginning balances. Then down here, you'll also see potential issues if you have any bank feeds that get disconnected, and then accounts without activity for the last 90 days. Do any of those need to be, made inactive or deleted, any old accounts? So that's kind of helpful. Then down here, you've got your to-dos, your to-do checklist, where you can add additional things out here. And this is where you can add your own to-dos as you need to. So perhaps I want to come down here and put, review accounts. Oh, I got duplicates out there already. Review customers for duplicates, let's say. And you could give it a name out here. And then this is what's cool, is you can actually link to that page. So for example, if I come over here and let's just open the customers, notice how I right click, open it in a new tab so I don't lose the current tab I'm on. I could come over here and copy and paste this link and put that right in here into my to-do checklist. So now when I come down here and I'm reviewing these things, I can click the link and it's going to take me right into that. So you can create your own to-do items out here. You can track your status of things. Are we in the middle of it? Are we waiting on it? Are we finished with it? So you can track your status as well. So that's all really kind of helpful stuff just on the setup tab. And remember, you won't see setup unless you're in the cleanup up here. So now when I go into transaction review, this would show me if I had any transactions that have been downloaded and need to be added or matched. We don't have any, but I love this next section. Look how it's highlighting things for us. Here's a bunch of uncategorized transactions. I could go ahead and categorize them right from here by going into reclassify and say, which account do I want to reclassify that to? Because right now, what happened was you had these transactions downloaded from the bank feed. They didn't know where it went or didn't pay attention, and it went into uncategorized expense. So I can come in here and assign it the proper expense right here. Or remember, we have that reclassify transactions tool. Okay,
now, is that the only one? Will it only go there if it only show up here if it's only put in uncategorized expense?
Uncategorized expense or asset or liability.
Got it.
So any uncategorized account. But
so
under that,
if they've left it in the bank feed and it's sitting to something else that's not uncategorized, it won't show there.
If it's sitting if it's still in the downloaded transactions waiting for you to add it or match it, it does not show there. Those are only things that were added, probably not matched, but added and went into uncategorized.
Oh, so they actually have to be posted and posted to uncategorized. Okay.
Yes.
I got excited there for a second because I was going through a client's who's got like months of transactions that are sitting in there, and he maybe touched one of the transactions and it categorized. QuickBooks thought about putting it to a certain expense account, but a lot of them I just have to put it to ask client so that he can tell me what they are. But
speaking of ask client, I'm going to show you something super cool in just a minute. But
I'm
here's
on the edge of my seat.
You're going to want to see this. Under the reclassified transactions, though, as you know, and we've got this in other videos or webinars that we've done in the past, it allows you to review the transactions and reclassify them or assign a class or a location. So for example, notice under advertising, there's only $5,000. Let's say I'm reviewing meals and entertainment, and I determine these two here should have gone to advertising. You can go through here, and it's really great because you can search for certain things if you're looking for a specific transaction, specific classes, or a certain vendor, whatever it is, you can kind of filter what you're looking for. But when you identify things that are posted incorrectly, which we all know happens all the time, you can come and reclassify these quickly and easily. And I'm just going to put that into advertising so we can see it. You could assign a class or change the class. Same thing with location. If you've got those turned on, you'll see those. Now you'll see I moved those two transactions up to advertising, and it was only two of them. But what happens is once the client makes a mistake, they keep doing that same mistake over and over again. I'm trying to get this toolbar out of my way here. They'll keep doing the same thing over and over again. So you can go in and fix a lot of these in one fell swoop. You just select them, you hit reclassify, I can send them back over to meals and entertainment and click apply, and now it'll move them back over there. So you can move lots of transactions in a hurry. So it allows you to review the accounts, looking for things posted incorrectly, and then fix them quickly and efficiently as well. So that's your reclassified transactions tool. It is covered on the audit log. It will track your changes on the audit log. That's always a question a lot of accounting professionals have is, is it tracking those changes? So now when you come into that transaction review, remember we came down here and we found some of these that were uncategorized. Let's say I don't know what they are. Check this out. Dan, I know you're on the edge of your seat. I love it. Ask the client. Okay. Oops, I already asked about some of these, but that's all right. We'll ask them again. So when I choose ask the client, oh, maybe it's not wanting me to do that because I've done it before. Let's try this one. Ask the client. There we go. Come on. It's popping up and going away. All right, so over here, you'll see it's going to create a message that's going to go to your client. They will see it in their QuickBooks down on the left-hand side of the nav bar where it says accountant. They will see them in there. They also get an email notification. They can come down here and review these things, and then they can respond to them. We can attach a document if we need to down here, and you'll see it says notify the client. And it will notify them via their email or their phone number, whichever you have in there. So then this is where we don't have to, export a report out to Excel and then create an email and then attach the report in the email and send it to the client. It's all right here within QuickBooks. So I love that. So you can ask them about transactions without a payee. You've got undeposited funds down here, and you all know how to clean that up. So I'm not going to go over that, but it'll show you how many you have. If you just have a couple, it may be okay. If you have thousands sitting in undeposited funds, you've got a problem. And then down here, any unapplied payments. So I love how it's pulling these things for us automatically. And then again, down at the bottom, you've got this to-do checklist, and you can always come in here and edit or delete any of these that you have out here. And again, you can track your status of those. So people that are reviewing it or you can keep track of where you're at. Okay, so it just keeps getting better. So first we review our transactions, then we need to go in and make sure that we're reconciling everything. So you can come out here and get a quick reconciliation status on all your bank and credit cards, as well as other balance sheet accounts. You can reconcile almost every balance sheet account. Let's say you have employee advances. We're going to talk about payroll in a minute. You have employee advances. You need to reconcile those to kind of see what the balance is and what the balance remaining is. Same thing with client retainers. So you can reconcile other balance sheet accounts. Here's any outstanding transactions that may be old that need to be written off. Those that you keep seeing in the bank rec when you're reconciling and ignoring, you may want to write some of those off. And then again, we have additional to-do items down there at the bottom. So I hope y'all are loving this tool because I absolutely love it. And Intuit did a study or research. They're always doing this kind of stuff. And they determined, I think it was 5 times that people who use this books review, use this process on their clients' books, the books are 5 times as accurate. How cool is that?
Wow.
I mean, it
There's a
helps
couple
saves us time and helps get things right. So go ahead, Dan.
There were some couple of questions on the ask client, because I think you blew just not my mind, but somebody else's. When you send that ask client, they get one email, right? They don't get one email for each transaction that you're adding to the request, right?
That's correct. Like, see, here's 3 of them in there. So it's questions about transaction categories. You'll see there's 3 transactions in one request. So it's sitting there waiting for the client. And down here, you'll be able to see any documents that were attached, as well as any comments that they made. So you can go in and review. Up here, you'll see I clicked on, let me close this so you can see it. I clicked on client request. You can view all the requests that you've sent down there. And they see it over here under my accountant is where it will pop up in their books.
Super. And then when they act on it, because of course they're just waiting for you to talk to them.
Yes.
But of course, a week later when they finally act on it, do you get notified that they have responded?
Yes, you will get notified that they have responded, and any documents will be up there in your shared documents and things like that. And somebody wanted to see how to get to ask the client. You can get to it from up here under client requests, create a new request, or when we were doing our transaction review, if you select a transaction here, it pops up with things that you can do. I can add the payee. This one had the payee missing. So it's going to allow me to fix it right here, or I can void it or delete it, or I can ask my client. And when you do ask the client, it's going to create that and send it to them and notify them either on their email or their phone. You can put in there which, and they're going to see it right down there in the lower left under my accountant in their books. So I love it. So go out there and try out and check out this new books review. You guys are going to like it. As a reminder, your clients do not see this stuff. It is for your eyes only. And remember, you can customize those checklists down there. One thing I will point out to you on the checklist, which you can help me with this one, send feedback to Intuit, because it's annoying to me that I cannot rearrange these things. Once I put them out here, I can't move the order. So just keep that in mind. You have to delete them and redo it, and that's a pain. So I would like to be able to rearrange that checklist. So send that feedback to Intuit on the checklist that you customize.
And this has evolved over, since they initially launched it. I think it was QB Connect a couple years ago when they originally announced it, but now it's every iteration adds more functionality to it.
That's correct. It just
and
keeps
that's due to the
better.
feedback that we're providing.
That's right. So as a reminder, under gear feedback, send them that feedback.
And one other thing I wanted to ask you, and it just flew away from me. Oh, darn it. Go ahead.
Well, that's okay. I just see Terry was asking about the to-do items on the books review. Where do the to-do items add? You can add to-do items on any of these tabs on the transaction review, account reconciliation, or final review, and they always go down to the bottom. So when you come down here and you add a new one, it's always going to be at the bottom. Okay. So
I remember.
Okay,
remember what I was going to ask you.
What was it?
So this is company specific. So anybody who's an accountant, like if you have like 5 people on your team and they have client access to beautiful landscapes, they'll be able to see the month-end review section, right?
Yes, all the accountant users that have access to that client.
Got it. Okay.
Will have access to that. All right, shall we talk about prep for taxes quick, or will we go into some other stuff first?
Let's do a poll as a nice segue, and then we can address any other questions that may have come up. But it's a good segue. Do you prepare tax forms for your clients? I thought it was I met someone at QB Connect, and I thought it was a genius thing. It's like, I only take tax clients that I do the bookkeeping for, was her model, right? Like, some people love taxes and some people love bookkeeping. She loves taxes for the ones that she knows that she's done the bookkeeping for.
Yeah.
I thought that was an awesome way to position only taking on new tax clients, because that makes your taxes easier if you
Yes.
know that the books are in order.
Yeah. And that's a good point. That really is. Well, and one of the things is so much better now because of QBO and the bank rules and all that is if you got a tax client that comes to you and they haven't done anything all year, we used to have to spend all this time actually entering transactions. What a waste of time. Now you can get the transactions from the bank feed or from the bank and download them and import them, or you can get a statement and import them. And you can import, let's say, 18 months of transactions, set up bank rules, and you can process 1.5 years of activity in a fraction of the time that it used to do. And that's why so many people are no longer hourly billing, because it doesn't make sense to do that.
A quick question that somebody asked, can you print a checklist?
No, that's another one we want to send our feedback to Intuit. Yes, because you cannot print those checklists down there. I mean, you could do a screen capture if you wanted to, but that's not ideal at all. Wait till you see the checklist that Jenn has. If you think this is awesome, she's going to show me up on her checklist and resources.
You guys are really building me up. I love it.
Yeah.
Thank you. This is all great stuff too, by the way. This is awesome.
Yeah, it's just, you've got such an awesome, amazing resource with all these clickable links to get the details and stuff. So I'm anxious for you all to share that with them because it is wonderful.
All right, well, let's go ahead and end the poll here, and then we'll share the results. So it looks like about 58% of folks actually doing taxes for their clients here. All right, so let's go ahead and press on so we can get through all of these awesome tools.
All
and
right.
checklists.
Okay, so after you go through your month-end review, you get everything cleaned up, everything's looking all great and pretty and everything. Then what you'll probably want to be doing is prep for taxes. And you may be using some of those other tools that we did not cover out there. Just as a reminder, we talked about the reclassified transactions. Oh, I am going to point this out to you real quick. Under report options, this is where you can choose the default date. So when you go in and run, let's say, a P&L, or you go in and you run these reports, what is the default date that you want it to be? Like if you always want it to be this year to date, you can change that. Or if you're working on year end, you can say, I want it always to be last year. And so you can then come out here and change your basis as well. So then when you run a report or you go into those tools like reclassified transactions or prep for taxes, it will automatically pull those dates for you. So I think that's pretty handy. So
and that was also a tricky point for some accountants, because that is only available as an accountant. That report date's in there. Even if you have the report setting for accountant settings, for the company itself as cash, if you have that report setting at accrual, those financial reports that you run are going to be based off of that report dates setting for the accountant. So a lot of times I got a call where it was I'm running this they're on a cash basis, but I run it and it's in accrual. Why is that? I've got to check the setting. They forget to go into the reports setting here and check that.
Yeah, so under the accountant toolbox, you'll see report options. That's where you'll do that. All right, so in the prep for taxes, this is amazing. Okay, so if you're using ProConnect Tax Online, it's wonderful because everything will be integrated between QuickBooks Online and ProConnect Tax Online. But if you're using Lacert or ProSeries or something else, this still is a very, very helpful tool for you because you can export it and then import into the other tax prep package. So for example, I'm going to go through this quickly, but you've got your year-end tasks. So it's going to show you any changes since you started the prep for taxes, so you can review those changes and accept those changes. Then you need to map all of your accounts. So you'll see here, down here, we're using an 1120S. This is an S corporation. All of these accounts down here have already been mapped to the proper line of the tax return. For example, if I click on rents, you'll see which account it is, and I could edit that over here if I needed to. But any new accounts that are added or any accounts that aren't mapped are going to be highlighted at the beginning. So if they added a new account during the year, you would need to come out here and assign it the proper line of the tax return. So the first thing you do is you map all of your accounts and which line of the tax return it goes to. Then you may have documents, any supporting documents that you have. And this is where you can create a new folder Or if you have a template for all your clients, you can import folders from a template. This is where you could come out here and attach, let's say, a document like the purchase of a truck. You could attach these documents to these accounts, or maybe you want to attach any work papers that you have. It's kind of like a document management thing out here that you can use. So it's kind of helpful. Then we have our review and adjust, where you can go in and look at the trial balance. And you can take a look at either the trial balance view, if you prefer that, like if you like to see the years, the dollar change and all that, you can see the debits and credits if you want to. You can choose which way you want to see this to review all those balances out there. So this is your chance to take a look also and make your adjusting entries if you need to. So for example, let's say somebody forgot to record depreciation. I could come down here and click make adjustment and go in and do that journal entry, and it's going to update here for me. So you can make adjustments right from here as you're getting ready to do those taxes. You know, some things that are non-deductible, you could make that adjustment here if you needed to. So that's helpful. And then also the grouping and statements. I know a lot of times when people are doing their taxes, they like to group things together for the tax return. For example, cash and cash equivalents. This is all the checking and savings accounts. It also would be a PayPal account, a Venmo account, cash and cash equivalents. We want to group all together to be one number when we're doing that tax return. So you can create a new group, and then you can simply drag and drop to move these accounts into the groups as you need to. So that's
there
handy.
You can reorder, but you can't reorder those lists on the
I know, right? So they obviously know how to do that. So why don't they do that to the to-do list? That's my point. So anyway, so that's your groupings and statements. And then finally, you have your final tax mapping here, where you want to do a final review of things, make sure everything's looking all right. When you're ready, this is really cool. You can download this to a zip file. So you can download to a zip file, and now you're going to have Excel files with that trial balance in it. So if you want to import that into, let's say, Lacert, and so you got your trial balance numbers here, you export it to an Excel file, and then you can import that into Lacert or other tax prep packages. You can carry forward. Whoops, I didn't mean to actually click on that. You can carry forward as well as lock this. Once you're done, you can lock it. Under the tax options, you can update an existing return. Let's say you were working on the taxes. Oops, I forgot to do depreciation. You come back out here, you do your depreciation, update that existing tax return that sends the data from QuickBooks directly into ProConnect Tax Online. Or you can create a new return or export as a CSV. So Intuit has done a fabulous job of giving us all these new tools to help us. So we need to be using these things. And I see somebody says they've changed. They changed from an S Corp to a C Corp. In the tax mappings area, let me go back to the tax mappings. In the tax mappings, if you need to change the entity, see here where it shows I have an 1120S, you click that little thing, and down here you could select your 1120C. Connie said they had an S Corp change to a C Corp, how to change that. You'd come out here, I believe it wipes out all the tax mappings and you start over. And that's where you'd also want to change that, though, under the accountant settings for the company information. Change it over there, because that's where it pulls from. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, this is a huge question. You know, for those people that are doing the bookkeeping and the taxes at the same time and using ProConnect Tax, used to be called Intuit Tax Online, it just makes quick work of actually preparing the return, because again, you're getting the books in order, and you're getting them consolidated on where do you want that to show up in the tax return itself. It's almost like click and go, you're done. Next customer, please.
I know, if taxes and payroll had been this easy back in my day, I might not have liked those so much.
We might not be talking to you.
It's so much easier now with all these wonderful tools and the technology that we have to do all this. So make sure you're utilizing the tools that you have available out there. And I see people asking if it'll transfer to like My Tax Office or other tax prep software. If you can import from an Excel or a CSV file, you should be able to import that trial balance into your software, but I don't know because I don't use those. So you'll need to try that out.
The only one that it will go directly into a return is ProConnect Tax Online.
That's right. And
that's the only one that will directly. The rest, it will be, taking it to Excel and, check with the other software provider if it will import.
And no, it does not import to TurboTax. TurboTax is for personal use. Anyway, all right, enough of me. Let's see some of these other great resources that we have as well. So I think we can just transfer to Jen or Dan. Did we have any slides we needed to go through?
The only ones that we had is that there is a tax readiness VCon that ProConnect is putting on, and I'm going to post that in the chat just so that we have the link.
I wanted to remind you all, so on that tax VCon, they do a lot of great things. They talk about updates to the tax law, what's changed, what's new in TurboTax, or I'm sorry, not TurboTax, what's new in ProConnect Tax, Lacert, and what's new in Pro Series. But they also had a session in there, and I think it's on the last day again, day 3, on QuickBooks Online at year end that I did, and QuickBooks Desktop at year end that Laura Madeira did. So if you want to go through those two, register for that tax VCon. If you can't attend it live, you can always watch those recordings later. But that's, I had an hour, Laura had an hour, so that would also be helpful resources for you all as well.
Great. So speaking of taxes, Jen, you have something to
I certainly do. We're going to talk payroll taxes. How exciting, right? Sounds like 62% of you guys do help clients out with that in some way, shape, or form. So yes, excited to be on, like I mentioned, and excited to share the free resources that we have. And this actual site is available for our accounting firms that either partner with us or don't, prospects, clients, really anybody can access this information, but wanted to walk you through it. And you guys can definitely take some time later on to play around with it as well. But couple of pieces here. So the COVID-19 resources are huge. They obviously pertain to payroll, but they also pertain to just business reopening and navigating through the pandemic, right? As we hopefully get out of it here soon. So these are going to launch into separate landing pages here, but this is a section I would highly recommend going to if you're working with a client that needs a little bit of assistance here. So there's employer resources, there's reopening your business, what do you do there? And there's all kinds of updates on the American Rescue Plan Act, any sort of legislative change that has been made, you guys can click into it and get some more information. I'm a huge fan of FAQs. I'm like, just kind of give me the Cliff Notes version of it. What are the most frequently asked questions? So you guys have access to all of this and can also share the link with your clients as well if they have any questions pertaining to COVID-19 and how to navigate it. But I'm going to scroll back up to the top here for you guys. And as you can see, as you're prepping for year end as it relates to payroll. So we're past November at this point in time, which is hard to believe. So I'm going to click the December link here and just come down to this section. So before the last payroll of the year, there is quite a bit that you guys want to do or want to check through, or at least the clients want to, right? The worst thing in the world, I always say, is having to go back and do adjustments in 2022 for payroll that was processed in 2021. It's a nightmare dealing with the government agencies, and it never seems to end if there's a mistake that's made that needs to be adjusted. So if you take the time on the front end, it's definitely well worth it. So processing your final payroll, this is one of my favorites here. It just walks through, again, like little reminders pertaining to COVID-19 before a client runs their payroll December 31st. There is some ADP specific information in here on our Run platform if they happen to be an ADP client. However, each section does speak to generally what you would need to do relating to reporting fringe benefits, reporting healthcare coverage, especially if you're an S Corp owner there, 2% S shareholder. So all of this good information is in here. I could probably take like 2 hours going through it all, and I'm not going to do that to you. So as you guys can see, before December 31st, there's also another section. You know, we see a ton of bonus payrolls run. A lot of times the client doesn't necessarily know how to enter this data in the proper way or how to run a special payroll. So any assistance you guys can go through with them just to point them in the right direction, to let them know that they want to make sure they do it the right way. Because again, the worst thing in the world is amendments in 2022 for 2021. And then as you look to January, some common things that are sometimes overlooked, but clearing the PTO accruals out, how do they do that? It'll walk them through how they do that in our platform. Updating employee deductions, this is also a big one. Obtaining new W-4 information, so nice reminder. And the beauty is, you guys, unlike QuickBooks, this is one feature we do have. There is a checklist that you guys can print. So there is nothing more satisfying to me than like a check mark on a piece of paper. I'm a little old school, you guys, but this is going to bring up a PDF that you can print in just a second here, and you can check all the boxes as it relates to payroll, or you can share it with your clients if you don't really take part in that activity.
But can you reorder it? That's
you cannot. So yeah, so I'm sorry, you guys, you can't reorder it. But it can be printed or exported. So you got that feature there. Go ahead. Sorry, Michelle.
I was just going to add one thing. I put it in the chat, but I wanted to make sure everybody realized, and you may have mentioned this and I missed it, but these resources are available to anyone. You do not have to be using ADP to be able to access and utilize these resources that they have. You may already have a checklist. Theirs is so comprehensive though. I would encourage you to check it, make sure you've got everything on your checklist if you're using it, because it is just such a great resource for all of you, not just ADP customers.
Absolutely. Yes. All of you. So not just ADP, there'll be some ADP lingo in there if they do use Run, but it's just general information. This is another favorite of mine too. I know clients oftentimes are very confused about the W-2 and what goes on there. So we have a nice little cheat sheet here, frequently asked questions section, so that you're able to share with them as well. So lots of good information within the year-end processing guide. Again, definitely check out the COVID-19 resources as well. You can definitely go down some rabbit holes with all the different links and resources that we provide to you. And then I'll share a couple other resources too, so I can pass it back to you all to talk about QuickBooks again. But we are super excited because if you are a partner of ours and work with us in any way, shape, or form, meaning you have access to our accountant portal. Give me 1 second, guys, because I'm going to have to change the display here. Good times. All right, so hopefully you guys can see this now, but we have an amazing marketing toolkit. Hopefully it pops up. Michelle, I don't know if mine wants to cooperate with me. Here we go. So where you can customize, or firms can customize letters and other tax planning templates. This is great because it's a plug and play. Like there's so much that you guys have to do. I saw it all with my own eyes as Michelle walked through it. If you have these pre-formatted end of year letters for clients and tax planning templates, why not take advantage of them? And they can be co-branded as well if you're using our Account Connect platform and partner with us. S-Corp payrolls, this is huge. We have an influx coming in this time of year. We do have entities that change over to an S-Corp, need to process, or just a client that maybe has waited to process until the end of the year. They may be an annual payroll. We have special packages for these clients that are priced at a very wallet-friendly fee. So definitely something that we can help out there. And then, of course, it is CPE season, CPE month. So if there are any CPAs out there, if it's a reporting year, I know we're trying to get as many as we possibly can before year end. Or if you just want some more great information on topics that we have available, which I'll go through in a second, you're more than welcome to take advantage of those. They're all complimentary for the accounting community. So some of the topics coming up. So we are jamming a lot into this week, right? So tomorrow, and this should say Wednesday because Wednesday is tomorrow, right, guys? Tax updates for businesses. So there are 2 sessions running for this at 11 a.m. and 1 p.m. And then we do have on Wednesday a major HR trend to follow in 2022. So that's a big one. That's at 2 p.m. And then another hot topic, it's even stated in the subject line here, but payroll tax updates and emerging hot topics for 2022. That's a couple weeks out on Tuesday, the 21st of December. You guys can register at our website, adp.com/CPE. If you happen to miss the webinar, you can always go back in to the same site and click to view the recording of it. So you can always go back into our library. If you're a CPE, you have to be live on those webinars to get the credits. We do have an on-demand catalog. If you're interested in that, of course, you can shoot us a note. But definitely check out that site and check out all of our upcoming webcasts that we have. And then this is what was featured right in the very beginning, what all of you guys held on to right till the end. But we are offering complimentary copies of the Tax Book Deluxe Edition for 2021. You guys are able to access that or make the request at edpay.com/the tax book. The only caveat to that is we would love to meet with you in person or virtually if you guys are working remotely. One of our assigned associates, depending on where you live, would just jump on the phone or meet with you in person, talk with you about everything we have to offer in addition to all the great things that we've already discussed. And that's really it. So no other ante there, but definitely want to make sure you guys take advantage of it.
And it looks like they have, it's like tabbed, so you can just jump right to the spot wherever you happen to be looking for. Because nothing worse than looking at the instructions of a tax form and flip. Where is it on this circular E?
I can tell you these books are a great resource. I mean, I know a lot of accountants and bookkeepers that's their go-to book throughout tax season. So it's definitely a great resource. And I thank you guys for making that available to everybody.
Absolutely. Happy to do it. Definitely. And I agree with you. I get more requests for this guidebook than anything else. So we've got the master tax guide, but it's always this one that they want to get their hands on because it's a quick, easy reference. So hopefully you guys jotted that link down as well. Dan, it looks like you got another poll question.
Yeah,
here.
I just started another poll question because we kind of ran into payroll. How many S Corp payroll clients do you currently have? Less than 3, 4 to 9? I know Michelle has 0 because she runs from payroll.
Now that you can do payroll on your phone. I mean, it's so much easier than it used to be. And it's just the technology has made it a lot easier, but
So are you considering jumping back into payroll?
Kind of sounds like it, Dan.
I don't know. If we don't
take
get
more
on the
red shirts to know.
if we don't get on the road training more often, I might have to. I don't know.
I'm trying to convert her, Dan. I'm trying.
Okay. Got it. So yeah, it looks like most of the folks are about less than 3, but we do have some pretty large payroll clientele. Let me go ahead and share the results there.
Yeah.
About 11% with 20 plus. That's a lot of payroll.
That is a lot of payroll.
And there's, I mean, the resources that normally what we do in the QB Power Hours, where we talk about some of these troubleshooting and those types of things with payroll. You guys have just created so many awesome resources. We don't have to cover that, especially if you're working directly with ADP. You just kind of hand that stuff off.
Absolutely.
With having to troubleshoot payroll, especially after January 1. Oh, I gotta make an adjustment to to this employee's W-2 or something like that. It's really just reaching out to whoever your payroll provider is at that point. And with you guys, it's just, we'll take it.
We will take it on for you. Absolutely. Yes. And everything is done through our Account Connect portal too, which is nice. So I know, Michelle, you were touching on like less email communication, and we're moving that direction too. So you get to use our portal, which is great. So it's made it so easy for our accounting firms as well, and secure, not to mention, right? So lots of good stuff there.
Now, Jen, I do have a question for you. I saw in some of your checklists where it talked about the 1099s and things. Can people do their subcontractors through ADP and the 1099s as well, or is that separate?
They can process 1099s through ADP, yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, because I know in QBO, I didn't show you all this, but in QBO right now, you should be going into that tax 1099 wizard and making sure that you have all of their tax ID numbers and their email addresses or their mailing address and things like that. So in January, you're not scrambling for that stuff. You should be doing that now if you haven't already. So remember, you can do it within QuickBooks, or you could do it within ADP or third-party apps too.
And that would be a good checklist for yourself, but you would do that in work rather than inside of a client's books. You would set yourself a work task to make sure that all of those vendors have their have their tax ID left in there. But if you are using, ADP or QBO payroll, they'll file the 1099s for you, assuming that you've already set that information in.
Good
All
ad.
right.
Good
See if there's
ad. I think I have
any
one more to share before I pass it back to you guys here, if that works out.
Yes.
And yes, it is a year-end promotion for clients. So this is the time, 65% of businesses will make a switch and evaluate. And we wanted to extend our up to 6 months free promotion to anybody that has a client on the line or knows of a business owner that could benefit from it. But we do look to bring over anybody using Intuit, QuickBooks Payroll, or another competitor with 5+ employees. They would get up to 6 months free. And then a client of any pay size can get up to 3 months free. In the fine print there, I don't know about you guys, but I cannot read small print anymore on a screen, showing my age a little bit. But just because of implementation and ensuring that our clients have their account set up and ready to go, ideally that first or second payroll in the new year, we do like to get orders signed and submitted by the 17th of December. So we've got a couple weeks to do that, and then process payroll by January 20th. So that is the little asterisk down there with what needs to take place in order to qualify for those months free. So I will stop sharing my screen so you guys can take back over here. Hopefully.
And that is a great offer. If people are looking to make the move, today's the 7th already, and you got to do this by the 17th. So you got 10 days. If you want to jump on that, that would be awesome.
Yes, it's a huge
6
savings
months
to the client.
free. That's awesome.
Yes.
I mean, for the lack of a better word,
Yes. We
of free
don't
payroll.
usually offer those kind of promotions ever. So it is a year-end promotion. We'll say it's for you guys. How does that sound?
Okay.
Yes.
Right.
That's great.
Going to require me to wear a red shirt.
Gonna work on you too, Dan.
All
right. So, Jen, we have a great question here. I know the answer, but I would love to have you provide details. Does ADP offer HR services too?
We absolutely do. Yes. I mean, anything from very simple HR from creating a handbook to writing job descriptions. We partner with ZipRecruiter. I'm obsessed with that company. They do such a nice job in helping our clients find and source candidates in a very organized fashion, to having somebody come out on site to assist with HR. So there's different levels of services, and we do like to consult with clients to make sure we're putting them in the right package for what their needs are. So we absolutely do. Long-winded answer.
So Jen, let's say I got a client that wants to start offering some benefits. Maybe they want to start doing a health insurance plan. Maybe they want to start doing a 401k plan. Is that things that you all can help me to help my clients with as well?
We absolutely can. Yes, good question, Michelle. So we are licensed to sell health insurance as well. So we have specific representatives within our company that can either go out on site or work with the client over the phone to make sure they're choosing the right benefit platform for their company. We have 401ks, simple IRAs, really great retirement packages that integrate with payroll, which is huge for the client. So the client sets it up pretty much, their hands off. So that's a really big bonus and perk for them. And same thing on the health benefits side. So everything is integrated, streamlined, and really they do their work within our Run platform, and it feeds to the other solutions that we have to offer. So yes, great question.
So here's a thought, right? Like, so let's say somebody really likes to use QuickBooks Payroll, and they just don't want to change off of QuickBooks Payroll, but the HR, the retirement, that sort of thing, they can't do that inside of QuickBooks, at least not automated, right? So can you do both? Like, can you be QuickBooks Payroll to run your payroll and then ADP for the other services that you guys offer, or do you have to switch all the way over to everything being done by ADP?
Yeah, so they would want to switch over to ADP just because the payroll engine kind of houses, the HR solutions as well. So everything is within that platform, which is the benefit to the client. So a lot of times it does the benefit of moving to ADP outweighs using QuickBooks if they're looking for that additional HR support. And we always like to do, a return on investment for the client too, to show them what they're getting from it. And typically it's helping them in a lot of other facets of their business that they really need the assistance with. The other thing is we integrate with QuickBooks Online, so we can build a file, create a file that exports directly in to QuickBooks Online to make it, easy for them and easy for you guys especially. So no rekeying of data, everything is correct. So that allows them to really use an outside provider versus wanting to maybe not break ties with QuickBooks, because it's usually the integration piece of it. It's why they would want to make the switch, but we've got the feed. So,
and you can do job costing with ADP.
You can do job costing. Yes, you absolutely can do job costing. Yes. So obviously that we would consider that a more, I would say, sophisticated payroll. So we would want to make sure we get them on the right platform to handle all their needs, but we can do job costing.
And that's important to know, because so many times that was the missing link with QuickBooks. And I know now they've got it working as well. But I mean, that's nice to know, because so many of these clients want to be able to do the job costing. And it's not just construction clients. You can have all kinds of clients that want to be able to allocate the labor to the jobs, architects, engineers, party planners, maybe even, so that's really a good point to bring out there.
Yep, we see that all the time. Yes, great question.
All right, before we pause and end for the day, I want to run the last poll question.
Okay, and then I do have one more question for Jen. It relates to the job costing for salaried employees. Can you do that for salary? Can you allocate that to jobs on salaried employees or just hourly?
Yep, absolutely you can on salary. Yes, we see that all the time. And even, you've got a doctor, right, that spends, sometimes it's by percentage. I live in Ohio, so we have local taxes, but they'll allocate, their time in 2 different jurisdictions, some percentage, some by hour. So it really just depends on the client, and we can set it up the way that they'd like to see it. And their accountant, bookkeeper would like to have it done.
Great.
Yes.
All right. Well,
so
I
Michelle,
think yes.
Michelle, there was one that I wanted to run by you. There was a question that was thrown in here about somebody saw you at the virtual conference and they had some questions about the tax mapping. Is that a question that can you see that question in there?
I do see Shelley's question, and you know how I feel about taxes, so I would not turn to me for tax advice. But she did ask the question of what type of account entries to look for that would fall into the category of charitable contributions. So it sounds like she's saying, what type of accounts are you looking for? Under accounts, I would look for, they may have named it donations, contributions, nonprofit, giveaways, or you can look through the accounts for similar names like that. And then on the depreciation adjustment, yes, you do need to do that depreciation adjustment at year end, and you can do that right from the prep for taxes, or you can do it via journal entry in QBO. So, but as far as like actual accounts and tax mapping lines and things, you need to go through that tax return line by line and map the accounts.
And then for Jen, what type of taxes do people need to be doing in order to qualify for the tax book? I mean, who would be ideal? Was that federal or just payroll or both, or just tax prep?
Oh, for the tax book?
For the book.
We don't go comb through and look to see if you sign up, you want a copy of the book. As long as you're doing some type of tax work, we would love to chat with you, and you've got the business client base. So yes.
The book itself, is it as a reference material, it would be more for tax preparers, or would it be more for the payroll?
Income tax.
So it's federal tax. And Nick, I don't know if you're popping in the chat there. Nick actually handles the order of all these books and the distribution. Bless his heart. So it is, and I'm looking at the guide here, but federal small business taxes. So if you're working with small business.
Awesome. Well, thank you for joining us today here, Jen. And
thank you.
We appreciate you having us on, or you having you.
Thanks for joining me, guys.
Coming. That's right. Yes, it's the QB Power Hour with Jen and Michelle now. Because
Yeah,
I didn't
you're
get the
right,
red
Dan.
shirt memo.
Yes, thank you, Jen, and Nick in the
Thank you.
background, who's also helping us out. As always, it's wonderful. And you guys just do provide a wealth of resources that all of us can benefit from. So thank you for sharing those with us. And I will encourage you guys, jump on that offer for the tax book. They do have a couple of thousand, but they don't last long. So don't
Right.
wait. Once they start putting it out on social, those will be going fast. So I'd encourage you to jump on that because it is a great year-end reference for income taxes. All right, but thank you guys for both joining us. Dan, any last minute things?
No, just to make sure that people remember that next week we'll be having another QB Power Hour, not the every other week. So join us again for next week with creating a roadmap to advisory services. We'll be joined with Path, our friends at Path.
Yes, please join us for that. It'll be a good one.
All right. Have a great day, everyone.
Bye, everybody. Happy
Bye,
holidays.
everybody. Thanks, everyone.
We hope you enjoyed listening to the QB Power Hour podcast. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them in our Facebook group. You can find those resources and much more at qbpowerhour.com.